We had about a 2.5-hour drive this morning from the place where we saw the chimpanzees, the hippopotamuses on the beautiful Gambia River. What a time. But we're still kind of headed inland up the Gambia River. We got across and then the border. And I gotta tell you, this is a very remote border up in sort of, I guess it would be eastern Gambia and Senegal. And this has by far been the easiest border crossing yet. There was no chaos. We pulled up, we were the only ones there. We went in and got signed out. We got our paperwork taken care of. We got in our vehicle. We went up to the Senegal side. There was a police officer there. Quickly filled out the paperwork. And same thing with the aduana or customs. Easy peasy. We went from an English-speaking country to a French country. So that could have been difficult, but they didn't make it difficult at all. So we're back on the road in Senegal. We won't be here long, to be honest, because we're headed to our next country, the Guinea, Conakry. Back in Senegal, and as we've been riding through northern Africa and western Africa, one thing is abundantly clear: these are poor countries, and we can see them building their houses out of various materials, but a lot of them, quite honestly, are made from mud or sticks or gathered materials. There's a lot of brick making, block making on the sides where people will make their own blocks, I'm assuming with some sort of cement material. But in any event, it's pretty poor. And so we learned in the Gambia that the kids needed school supplies. So at the border, Snow went in and bought some supplies. We had some extra Gambia dollars. We wanted to use them up. And because we've been getting beat up by the traders at the border anyway, the money traders. And so we would rather give it to the kids than to those guys. Well, ironically, at this border there was no money exchangers, so we had some money left over. We needed some bananas and some eggs, and so we stopped a little booth, and it always breaks our heart when we see these little kids, and you know, they obviously are sort of needy. I hate to say it like that, but in any event, we gave some of the leftover Gambia money that we had to them to a couple of the different ladies at the couple different booths with the kids, and to see their face light up. And kind of even as we walked away, as I walked away, Snow was in the truck, in the van, and she said they were just giggling and happy and smiling. And so that really warmed our heart. It made us feel good. But we're heading on through Senegal. It's another hot day. We have a stop scheduled in about another 50 kilometers, so not far into Senegal, but it's so hot we may not even stop. We may keep going. I'm not sure, but I do believe we're about to get stopped at another police stop, so let's see. But anyway, we'll catch you. We may make a run for the Guinea border. Not sure yet. We're kind of making it up as we go along today, but it's early in the day and we kind of hate just parking up in this heat, so we're playing it by ear. Another thing, as we've been headed through the Gambia and through Senegal, as we come to these little villages, in a lot of places we're seeing signs where the European Union or other countries are contributing to maybe like little community garden projects, health clinics, schools, and really even some, the WHO is here, the World Health Organization, and we are always proud as world travelers whenever we see the US flag flying at some of these places. And it really breaks our heart knowing the kind of needs some of these communities have, that we're no longer contributing to such worthy cause. So we can only do so much on our journey, but we're certainly going to be conscious of that and try to maybe put a smile on a face or two along the way if we can.
We will do the small things we can throughout, whether it's a handful of lollipops to some kids on the side of the road, or Ziploc baggies or school supplies, whatever we can. Of course, we round up and we tip at everywhere we eat and everywhere we go at every campsite. We are giving back that way. There may be times you see us stop and just do something to help, but we do encourage you to do your own research. If you see some stuff over here that bothers you, there are tons of organizations here helping. If you feel it in your heart to send some money this way to Africa, then by all means do some research and find a place to do that, because the things we are seeing are so humbling, and the people are so kind, and there has been no ill will towards us, and it's a beautiful country filled with beautiful people. So we do encourage you to do that.
And this is probably a good time to tell you guys that this point of our journey is where the roads generally quality starts to decline. And right now we're on a little washboard gravel road. Now this is not technically challenging or anything like that, but it is really washboardy and kind of vibrates the van and shakes the van, and ultimately ends up irritating us and the cats, but it's totally doable. We've been on roads like this all over in the world. It's, like I said, not the technically scary ones, but believe me, those are coming soon enough. But we still have to worry about dodging the cows and the goats. As we drive through these villages, we're kind of starting to notice some consistencies, particularly in this area, some of which we've seen throughout. But I've already talked a little bit about the homemade bricks or blocks out of mud or some sort of cementitious material. But it's clear that they cook with wood and or charcoal, and so there's big bags of like charcoal that they made where they burn the wood to make big lump charcoal. and I believe they stack it along the side of the road in big, huge piles of bags, and either a delivery truck will come pick them up. But what we've also seen is the collectivos loaded to the absolute hilt, to the top, like twice as high as the van, with all sorts of various supplies, bags of stuff. We've seen goats, and well, in this particular one in the back, we even saw chickens. And so we see everything like that. But again, most of this is basic substance living.
So, Kurt has kind of been our route planner this last little bit, these last few countries, finding campsites, picking out which roads we're going to take. And when we were leaving a little town, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, where we stopped and bought a few little snacks from the vegetable ladies, he just miraculously said, after many, many, many hours of him driving and me not driving, maybe you drive now. I was like, sure, I'll drive. I've got no problem driving. And then, maybe 20 minutes down the road, the pavement went away. And I have this suspicion that Kurt knew that he was giving up the driving duties right before we hit these crap roads.
The reality is, guys, she always takes us down the worst roads. You know, she's the navigator.
So anyway,
to be fair, this is the main road to the border. This is it. And
that's what I was getting at, guys. This is the only way to go. But it is funny how he offered up the driving right before it happened. But we're almost to where we may camp, or we may just stop for a break. We'll see what it's like when we get there. I do not think we'll make it to the Guinea border today. We'll see if this is our stopping point or if we make it a little farther. But when you get on these dirt roads and you go through these smaller, more rural communities, you get an even deeper look into the culture of a country. So we don't mind it too much, except for it's hard on the kiddies, so we have to go super slow. And we're getting a little bit wore out.
The reason why we are running from rainy season, I don't know if you can see this area right here, but in rainy season that will fill with water and be an absolute muddy, impossible mess for us to navigate. And so along this road, there are spots that have those deep little mud holes, and a lot of them we could probably make it around or through. But some of them, man, it's very questionable. But anyway, it makes for a little rough ride, but we're gonna keep it on, and we're almost there. All right, guys, we're rolling into our spot, and this is our first wild spot in a long time. I don't know if it's our first wild spots when we've been in Africa or not, but it's a little place by a dry lake bed we found down a high Overlander. There's some cattle grazing back here.
Right up there under those trees.
Yeah, and there's some shade.
Go over there.
And this will work. So we're gonna find a spot and get parked for the night.
Your destination is on the right.
What are you doing? Okay. What are you doing, pumpkin? You like it up on the tree?
just off the road, but protected by trees. Found it on my Overlander, and it worked out nice. But oh, guys, was it hot. Yesterday afternoon, at around 5:30 or 6 o'clock, it was still 114 degrees. So we learned a very valuable lesson. We will drive more through the heat of the day. Right, Curt?
Yeah, and the heat stays into the later part of the day. But we have a sort of an aggressive driving schedule today. Our goal is to get to La Bay, about 350 kilometers. And so the Google says, I think that's about 6.5 hours. But the condition of the roads really could affect that significantly. And right now, this section of road is washboard, but there are some really bad sections of this road. We've already been on 3 wheels earlier this morning, and no telling what the rest of the road's gonna be like.
Well, we had a relaxed morning because we knew we'd be driving later than normal today. The kiddies had a fantastic walk and did lots of smelling and bird watching this morning with Curt. We took a minute to kind of clean out the van. We have been going nonstop, so we had a relaxing morning. We are on the road. It is 9:30, and the Google says we're about 45 minutes from the border, but I think it's going to take an hour and a half. We'll see. We will cross into the country of Guinea today, if that's where this dirt road takes us. A couple of things. First, there's nothing we can do about the noise. It's just what it sounds like on these roads. Second, it's about 84 degrees at 9:30 in the morning. It will heat up quickly, but luckily it cools down a little bit at night and in the mornings and the late evenings, way after it gets dark. It is the middle of February, so that just gives you an idea of how hot it would probably be here in July or August. I can't even imagine. And then the third thing I was going to tell you guys, I'd almost forgot, but now I remember. This is the first time we've been in Africa where we don't see people. We are way out here, aren't we, Curt? We've passed maybe 2 motorcycles and 1 person walking. But here in Africa, normally, even in the middle of nowhere, there are people along the side of the roads or little houses built out in the woods. And out here, it's just us and some birds and some cows. And we did see a monkey. We didn't get him on film, but we did see one. So, anything to add to our interesting drive? Curt's focused, guys.
Just out in the middle of nowhere on a long grass, bumpy road.
Lots of fun this morning.
Hello, how are you? Bonjour.
One.
Oh, here comes another little boy running down the road.
No, I gave you already.
Here comes a little boy running right here.
There you go.
No,
No, you don't want one? Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Here, you want to hold this out there?
Just as I was telling you, we were in the middle of nowhere and had seen no people. We went another mile down the road and a little village appeared. There was definitely some activity, some farming, some firewood gathering. As we got towards the end of the village, I was about to point out that I was filming a football field. It does not seem to matter how humble these places are. They have some place to play football. And for you people at home, that's soccer. But I was about to tell you that when 4 or 5 little boys came running out of their yards and they were yelling, tourists, tourists, tourists. So they knew we were tourists. We were already slowing down, and like we told you in our last video, we would give anything in the world if we could help every single person we see down here, because some of the stuff we see is heartbreaking. But what we have that we do give to anybody we can is a big jar of lollipops. I have not sorted out my school supply baggies yet, but those kids seemed happy to get a little sweet treat, and we're back on the road. And we have made it to asphalt. All right, we're getting closer to the border, guys. Closer to the border.
Yeah, this might be the Senegal checkout point. Where's he at? 36. Yeah, this might be the border right up here. He's butchered right there. He's butchering a cow. Ministry deliberate.
10:10 in the morning, and we are officially out of Senegal. We are not in Guinea yet. I think there's a several mile long no man's land here where you're technically not in any country.
And usually no man land, the roads are terrible. I hope I don't curse myself, but this is smooth pavement.
Yeah, we're on asphalt, and we're happy about it. All right, let's go get checked into Guinea. Now, if you don't remember, Guinea is a country that required a visa in advance. Luckily, it is an e-visa. We secured all of that when we were still back in Spain, and we have our copy of it. They are known here to be a little bit strict with the questions they ask you about hotel reservations and all of that. And we have all of that secured, so hopefully things go smooth.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out in a few minutes. So we think the distance between the Senegal border checkpoint and the Guinea checkpoint is maybe 15 or 20 miles. It's quite a ways. Luckily, the road is paved, which makes us and the kiddies very happy. But it is also known to just have huge, giant potholes that appear out of nowhere. So you still have to pay a lot of attention and be prepared to slow down and work your way around. Not just average potholes, like legit swallow up the van potholes. So we're not quite to Guinea. We are almost there. And then one more border. And then we'll tell you the plan for the rest of this video. We are officially in Guinea, but the van's not yet. The immigration posts seem to be stretched out several miles in between, but Curt, Snow, and the kitty cats are officially in the country of Guinea. We'll drive about 5 more minutes or so, and then we will be able to get the van officially into Guinea. The police officer went over our visas, confirmed our hotel reservations in the city, and was thorough and has to handwrite everything into a book. There's no computers out here, although I do think he scanned some stuff on his cell phone. But everything's still handwritten at these rural borders. But everyone was pleasant, and we're back in the van, headed to go get the van legal.
It was a fairly easy border, and while we were sitting there were some great people watching, and I wish we could film it. We can't film at the borders, but there was this little girl who came up, and she was just staring at us. I'm sure she doesn't see white skin very much. But anyway, Snow gave her a little sucker, and she made a friend for life. She was staring at us, and she had to wave goodbye. She was a shy little girl. Couldn't been more than one or one and a half.
No, she was probably 3. She was walking good.
Oh, she was 3 years old.
Yeah, I think she was 3-ish. As we keep driving south, each country, they seem to stack the semis a little bit higher. I swear that's 2 semis stacked on top of each other, trailers. But we also know we'll get to an area where they just get a little bit too carried away, and these things will start flipping over and bog down roads and traffic sometimes. But that was the tallest one we've seen so far, isn't it, Curt?
Yeah, that is pretty tall, and it's amazing. They're always stacked high, and they're always broken down with like flat tires or I don't know what. But anyway, there's always a welding shop at the borders or up the road. I suppose they tack them, get them back in business.
Well, in Guinea, it is not just the semis that stack themselves high. Oh, he's gonna teeter-totter over. Careful, Curt. Careful. He is loaded down. That's a skill right there. Look at that. It's got to be something light. You think he's got hay on there in those bales?
I don't know. He's loaded.
Or the charcoal. The stuff they use to burn is not heavy.
I don't know what it is, but he's loaded.
He's loaded.
That's a colorful cart right there.
Yeah. Kids
Carrying the water buckets.
It's bigger than he is. How's he going to carry it when it's full? Oh, man. Oh, it's so hard.
There's some one up here. Vehicle it.
Maybe.
All right, the van is officially in. We had to go through a scanner first. They x-rayed the van, and then we came out and we went to someone and
We went to the aduana or the customs office where we got pre-screened and then taken into the office of the boss, who didn't really do anything but look at you and decide if you could bring your van in or not. Luckily, we were able to bring in our van. And then we got sent down the road a little bit more to the police station, which will be our second police stop to get into Guinea. But it's where we finally got stamped. At every place you seem to see a boss.
yeah, that definitely seems to be the process. Pre-screen, and then you go to the boss, and he asks you a few questions, maybe judges your demeanor, I don't know, but in any event,
Then he gave a nod to the pre-screener, and then you get to go.
that's it. So obviously there's I don't know if the right word is pecking order,
Yeah.
but a chain of command. That's probably
It's
the
the
better
most
word.
formalized chain of command we've seen at borders so far here in West
But
Africa. It was very organized.
everybody was nice. Everybody, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's done by hand, so that takes a little bit of time. But to be honest, guys, it was, I don't know, not very long at all.
No.
It's, what, 12:20 right now?
Yeah, we probably started at about 10 o'clock leaving Senegal, so
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad.
And there was a long drive between each stop. So anyway, we're done, we're in, and we are starting to see some rock formations already. And we know on this drive there is going to be some altitude. So we're headed to La Bay now. We have to stop and get fuel, and we have to stop at the ATM and get money, because in Guinea they have Guinea francs. And so it's like, I don't know, like 1 million of them for $1 or something like that. It's crazy.
You got a big wad of money.
Yeah, so we have some things to do as we cross the border, and then we're going to grab a quick lunch and head on to La Bay. We understand the road should be fairly decent along the way. We're led to believe there's a 30-kilometer stretch that's going to be a dog's breakfast, really rough. So anyway, let's go. Welcome to Guinea. And one thing that we've noticed in all these towns is school colors are prevalent. And it looks like the school colors of this little town is just outside of Kundra is like a khaki or a tan color, and it looks like school's just letting out. There was a bunch of kids here, but this area looks really kind of similar to the area that we came through in Senegal. A lot of the little villages with the round house dwellings, and pretty basic so far, but we'll see as we approach Kundra, a little bit larger city, if things change. But this is where we're going to get fuel and try to get some money. Snow's got a big wad of money.
I didn't get quite as much as I wanted. I wanted to get about $300 US. which is $3 million of their monies. It only lets you have 600,000 at a time, so I was having to do many transactions. I had one more to do, and I had a guy that just was, I needed to leave. Not that I felt unsafe, I think he probably wanted money, but he was way too close and he was coughing a lot, so we probably have about $200 US.
Okay, we'll be all right.
Yeah. We have found a place to pull off of the highway down a little side dirt road. We were not fortunate enough to find a shade tree, but we've angled the van so we can open the door. The kitties get a little outside door time. Vanna seems pretty content back there in the back. Kurt's gonna whip us up a little sandwich and we'll get back on the road. Alright, so now that we are officially across the border and all border chores are done, I want to tell y'all what's going on here in Guinea. We must go to the capital city of Conakry. Here in Guinea, we need to get 4 visas for countries south of us. And we have to get our e-visas stamped. They don't do that at the border, and if you try to leave the country without it being stamped, you get into trouble. So we have 5 administrative things to do in Conakry. Now, we learned quickly that the cities of Africa are not somewhere you want to try to park overnight and camp in your van. So we have rented a hotel room that allows pets and has room for the van to be securely parked. And we need that because we will be in the city for several days getting these visas. You can't just go to each embassy and try to get them done because you have to leave your passport there most of the time while things are processing. We hope we can get it all done in 1 working week, Monday to Friday. We'll see how things go. We also may try to find a mechanic to give a little look-see and just make sure everything's doing okay in the engine. We do have a slight squeak when we're accelerating, and we think we're not super mechanically inclined, but we think it may be a belt. So we want to have a mechanic take a look at the van. And there is a swimming pool at our hotel. I have 0 doubts that we'll spend some time in that too. Right, Kurt?
Yeah, it'll be nice. We've been pushing really hard, guys. So it'll actually be nice to take a little break.
Yeah,
too.
it'll be nice. It has a nice garden area where we can walk the kitties and a little kitchenette. We may still go down to the van from time to time and cook food. We'll see how it turns out when we get there. Now, the problem is we are still 3 days driving away from Conakry. We will be driving quickly across the country to get to Conakry because it is hot and it's time sensitive that we start to work on these visas. So we're in a hurry to get there. We do think it'll take 3 days. If things went perfectly smooth and some of these roads have been recently repaired, you could do it in 2 days, but I don't think so. But we do know we take a little elevation. We drive up through some mountains, so we should get some different scenery along the way. But now you guys are up to date. You know what's going on. And now it's time for us, the kitties, and the van to get to Conakry. Oh, what was that?
That was, I think, just the AC.
No, the car's broke. We just broke a belt.
Broke a belt. The car's completely broke.
We're not accelerating. We just broke a belt. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It turned off. We're smoking. Open the hood. Oh. Well, we're not too far from that town. Well, guys, I guess you'd call this just about worst case scenario. We are about 20 minutes outside of the town where we did all of our border errands. We just finished our lunch and got about 2 more miles down the road, and something horrible has happened to our van. We heard a pop, a little bit of smoke. We lost power immediately, coasted off the road, and the van has turned off. When we open the hood, there is a little bit of oil, but it seems like it came from the dipstick area and not something catastrophic. That is what we're hoping. And right now we're just kind of coming to grips with what's going on and where we're at in the world and figuring out what to do next. So Curt is on the internet. We do know there is a mechanic in the town behind us. Whether or not our van will crank after it has time to cool down or whatever, we do not know. And that's where we're at right now. We are trying not to panic. We're remaining calm, and that's where we're at.
If you can see right there, see if I can zoom in. When I took the air hose off, well, that actually popped off. And right there, I can look back in there and see just chunks of metal. Now that could be just the blower fan that's kind of blown up. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we are on the side of the road in remote Guinea-Bissau, or Conakry. And this van's not moving. We got to get some kind of flatbed to get this thing on and get it to some city. I wouldn't even begin to tell you who's going to be able to repair this in Africa. So I'm not sure. This could be the end of the journey. And to be honest with you right now, I'm not even really worried about that. My main concern right now is getting Snow and the cats to safety, and kind of some kind of way getting our van to safety as well. But we got a lot of work here in front of us, and it is freaking hot. So we're on the side of the road. I'll kind of show you where we're at. And I think Snow's already told you we're a few miles out of town. A few cars have gone by, so we'll try to wave somebody down. I was just trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, we're in trouble. We're in trouble deep.
Curt opened up something. He said the name of it. And what he found in there is pretty close to devastating for us. Chunks of metal. Our engine is blown. Our plan is to find someone to send somebody out that can tow us back to this town. This town probably doesn't have the ability to fix what we need fixed. We're going to have to figure out how to get put on the back of a semi and get carried to Conakry, where we will regroup, guys. This could be the end of the journey, literally. We'll have to see if we can get our house fixed. There are no Mercedes dealerships in Conakry. I don't even know how you get. I think I'm in a bit of shock. But the first thing we have to do is get someone to come pull us back to town. And then from there we can figure out a little bit more.
If you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. And if you want to see more of our videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. We'll see you guys in a few days from somewhere out here in the world. Cheers.